Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. I hope you're having a pleasant Saturday. This is You Are the Asset. This is the live Q&A for the newsletter that comes out on Fridays. And the topic for Friday yesterday was it's not about the money, it's about fun, freedom, and fulfillment. Okay, so this newsletter is out on LinkedIn. We are live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And we go live every Saturday. So if you have questions, if you have read the newsletter and you have questions, please feel free to put it in the comments, whatever channel you are watching on. I'm Brooke McGowan, and I am a life design coach, and I help people specifically in the visual effects industry to create multiple streams of income. Okay, so and we do this with, not just creating money, but actually creating a life, creating the person that you want to become along the way. Okay, so it's not about the money, it's about fun, freedom, and fulfillment. Because if you think about it, anytime people want money, of course, it's never about the money. No one cares about money. They care about what money can give them, right? What money can do for them. And yeah, sometimes that is just to reduce the stress in their life, right? Because they're worried that they won't have money. But the only reason they're worried that they won't have money is to be able to pay for, their rent, their food, maybe even some luxuries in life and things like that. Not maybe. It's nice to have luxuries. We shouldn't, there's this idea that it's like, well, I need money. So, I heard once someone said, I'm not going to be afraid to ask for money anymore. They were starting a business. I'm not going to be afraid to ask for money anymore because I need to eat. And I'm like, well, that's a really bad reason to, yes, you do need to eat. But if the reason you want people to pay you is because you need to eat, what happens when you've got enough food? Well, what's the reason then? Right? So it's really important to actually understand what money is, and be comfortable with that as well. So money in itself is just a store of value, right? Of course, back in the day, people used to just exchange the actual asset, the actual commodity or asset, whatever it was. I've got sheep's wool, but I need some bricks. I go to the guy with bricks, and the guy with bricks says, I don't need sheep's wool. I need a paper, wood. It's what paper is before. I need some wood. Like, okay, cool. Let me go to the guy with wood. It's actually like Catan. If anyone's played Catan, you have to go to the guy with wood and say, okay, do you need some wool? He says, I don't need wool. I want, oh God, corn. Now I'm going to Catan. Okay, you need corn. Go to the guy with corn. Okay, the guy with corn. Yes, I need sheep's wool. Perfect. Give you the sheep's wool, got the corn, go back to the guy with wood, get the wood, go back to the guy with, oh gosh, I've forgotten what I wanted originally. Bricks, I think. And then I've got my bricks. Okay. So currency, money is just a way of condensing that, right? That process. And so what money itself is just a store of value. Okay. So when we talk about, getting money, giving money, it's value at the end of the day, right? When we pay for something, it's something that we value, right? When people give us money, it's something that they value, right? So, but at the end of the day, when we have money, whether we're making the money or we're using the money, there's fun, freedom, and fulfillment along the way in both ways of this. Okay, and when it comes to making money, so I'm going to concentrate today on making money, and and the thing is, the traits that create fun, freedom, and fulfillment are the same traits that actually make you money in any economy. Okay. So, as I said, I work in visual effects, and of course it's fast changing. A lot of industries at the moment are fast changing. And, the thing is with visual effects, on top of like AI is the big thing that's kind of the disruptor at the moment. But, before that we had the strikes. Generally, we have a lot of layoffs. We have, and then there's the economic downturns and things like that. Everything just looks very unstable, and visual effects itself has always been a little rocky, so it's even more rocky right now. But what doesn't change is the people who keep moving forward all share these same traits. Okay, I'm going to go over these 5 traits that you need to make money in any economy. Okay, and it doesn't depend on luck, trends, or platforms. Okay, because a lot of the time when people, so like I said, I help people create multiple streams of income. And when they do that, people think that they have to have like a really good idea, or like, what's the next trend? Oh, I missed that thing. Like, if I just got in like 5 years ago, or if I just got in last year or whatever, but it's really got nothing to do with that. And so these are the 5 traits that, I believe, at least for myself and for, the clients that I've helped, is what I believe you need to make money in any economy. And the first one is adaptability. Okay, this one's massive, right? Because the thing is, things are always changing, right? Software, studios, entire industries. And adaptability is what keeps you in motion when others freeze. Okay, so everyone, a lot of people, I'm not going to say everyone, that's quite generalist, but a lot of people in visual effects are just kind of waiting to see what happens, waiting for the industry to do something. Okay, but if you can really take on this adaptability for yourself, it really, what's going to happen is that it doesn't matter what's going on with the visual effects industry. You don't have to rely on the visual effects industry. Okay, you're able to adapt for yourself. Okay, I guess a little bit of self-responsibility, right? These are all a bit self-responsibility, but that's what adaptability is saying, like, okay, I don't need to just sit and wait. I can adapt. Okay, and the second one is creativity. Okay, and the thing is, creativity isn't limited to art. Okay, it's how you solve problems, how you find opportunities, and you can turn them into income. And I'll be honest with you, I have multiple streams of income now, and I feel like, there's so much more creativity in the way I, find opportunities, generate ideas and turn them into income and serve people and create that value and all this stuff. Like, there's so much creativity in that. And I feel more creative now that I'm doing these things and actually using them for, my own business rather than, somebody else's. Though I didn't really mind that. I don't mind other people benefiting from my creativity. But one thing is that, in visual effects, I think, we do see it as creative, but I don't know about you, but, there came a time where I felt like, I'm just button pushing at this point. The supervisor is the one who has the creativity, the directors have the creativity, and I'm the one pushing the buttons, so I actually do feel a lot more creative with my other income streams, actually. Okay, so that was adaptability, creativity, and the third one is resilience. Okay, because things are going to come along, things are going to knock you down, right? You're going to have setbacks, and when we can see these failures as stepping stones to success, right? It's not just survival, but it's actually useful, and it's needed for your evolution, right? So resilience is just like, and this is one of the biggest ones, because the thing is, I don't have a perfect life, but I'm perfectly happy, right? Because I know that things go up and down. I know that things change. I know that, there's going to be bad things, but I never see it as bad things. I just see it as like, it's just a thing, right? And this is the thing, when you have resilience, you don't see it as a setback. You just see it as a stepping stone. Okay. And that's how you actually end up changing your whole life, because when things happen, it's the same with adaptability, as I talked about, you don't, it's not, the end of the road, right? It's not the end of the road. It's just a new level, kind of like playing a video game, right? Sometimes you're stuck on a level and you don't know how to get to the next level, but that there is another level, right? You just have to find out how to get there, right? What am I missing? Like, right, you're problem solving. Okay. So number 4 is problem solving, right? So money moves towards solutions. Okay, the people who see problems as opportunities never run out of ways to earn income. Okay, because what a business is at the end of the day is just it's just solving someone's problem, right? All businesses exist to solve a problem. Okay, so when you are a problem solver, you'll never run out of ideas, right? And you'll see problems as opportunities. Okay, and when you have a problem yourself, you're going to see it as an opportunity. Right? When you see it as an opportunity and you overcome that problem, right, you're even more capable of helping other people and problem solving, right, and providing solutions and finding solutions. Okay, and the fifth one is communication. This is across the board, right? You can have all the talent in the world, but if no one understands your value, it doesn't matter, right? Clear communication connects your skills to opportunity, right? We see this all the time. People have a great product, but they can't get anyone to buy it because they don't know how to communicate it properly, right? So these are the 5: adaptability, creativity, resilience, problem solving, and communication. Okay, so when you work on these are the traits that build wealth, freedom, fulfillment, fun. Okay, a lot of the time people think it's it's luck, it's timing, waiting for the industry to stabilize, and you don't need to. You really can kind of take that responsibility on for yourself and change your world, change your life with these 5 traits. Okay, and they all do also start with belief, right? You've got your skills, which are the more tangible things, right? Software, etc. You've got the skills, you've got these traits, and then you have beliefs as well, which I've spoken about in previous episodes. So the best part is you already have these traits. Okay, you have been using them, you just need to know how to use them for your own income rather than just your job. Okay, and the great thing is that as you use them for your income, you're actually going to get better at them even for your job as well. Okay, so there's no loss in developing these traits. Okay, because at the end of the day, it's not about chasing money, it's about becoming the kind of person who can create it anytime, any place, any economy. Okay, and that's what it means to be the asset. Okay, all right. So if you are here live, thank you so much for joining. And if you have any questions, please do put them in the comments. Even if you're on the replay as well, if you're on the replay, you can also put your questions and comments in. I will always see them and reply to them. And, if it is a longer question, I will always answer it here live on the next episode as well. Okay, so thank you so much for joining on a Saturday morning, maybe a Saturday evening for wherever you are in the world. And I will catch you next week for another episode on You Are the Asset. Bye for now.